Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out a guitar from B&G's Crossroads series. Let's take a listen. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having an excellent day today. As I mentioned, we've got a guitar from B&G in the studio. Now, if you get tired of the same companies, rehashing the same thing year after year, decade after decade, well, this is something different. Now, before I dive headfirst into the demo, I got to give a quick shout out to the guys from B&G because they've partnered with the channel to give one of these babies away. Fantastic stuff. So big thanks to B&G. I love doing giveaways on this channel. So you have to be a subscriber to be eligible to enter, and the rest of the information I will link to above, or it'll be down in the video description below. I'll leave it open for about 2 weeks, and then I'll announce it here and over on Instagram. So let's find out what this guitar is, what it's all about, how it's different from other guitars, and of course, what it sounds like. Now, the model is the B&G Stepsister, and this is part of their Crossroads series. So they've got kind of like their private build, the standard series, and the Crossroads series. So this is kind of like the most affordable B&G guitar, which is awesome because more people need to get their hands on these guitars. So spec-wise, on the headstock here, 3+3 design. On the back, we've got a set of Grover open gear tuning machines, really nice high-end tuners. So you love to see it on a guitar like this. You're never gonna feel like you need to replace these tuning machines. So that's great. We've got a Graphtec tusk nut, another really nice appointment here. And when we take a close look, you can see it's cut really nice, good attention to detail. Now on the neck, it's made out of one piece of mahogany, which you don't always see on guitars like this because it's harder and more expensive to make instead of just laminating pieces together for the heel and the tilt back on the headstock. When you do one piece neck, you need a big chunk of mahogany, so it's nice to see that on a guitar like this. You also get a mahogany body, so mahogany neck, mahogany body. We've got a solid maple top on this, so when you look in the F-hole or at the binding, about a 1/4 inch thick, no laminations, no veneer, straight solid maple. Now B&G actually lists the weight of these guitars on their website. Now you guys know I've demoed a lot of guitars on this channel over the years, and the companies that actually will list the weight or the weight range of their instruments is like 1%. Almost nobody does it because they can't guarantee the weight, right? So when you see it, you kind of perk up and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. So these guitars are guaranteed to be between 6.4 pounds and at the heaviest 7.5 pounds, so within a pound. So that's really cool that they'll guarantee the weight of their guitar. I threw this one up on the scale and it came in at 6.5 pounds. That's incredibly light. And it's hard to kind of convey that over video. But the great thing is it also doesn't headstock dive. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but the headstock just kind of stays where it should. And that's tricky to do because the lighter you make the guitar, well, the more weight comes over here and then the headstock kind of tries to dive like SG style, right? Super light body, super heavy neck, and they do this, not with this guitar. So they've engineered something pretty cool. Guaranteed to be ultra lightweight, no headstock dive. That's fantastic for the player. Now, as for the rest of the body, we get a set of B&G designed P90 pickups. And of course, you got your bridge and the showstopper, which is the brass tailpiece and chambered body. So I'll just take a few shots for you guys. You can see the exposed binding there, the output jack, volume, tone, and 3-way switch, cutaway. So yeah, just has an incredible vibe. It's kind of like those 20s and 30s parlor style guitars, and in this tobacco brush finish just looks absolutely killer. So there you guys go. That's kind of like a really brief rundown of this guitar. I will link to it in the video description below, for all the detailed specs. All right, so we'll get into the rest of the construction. At the end of the video, we'll pull the back cavity cover off. There's a nice little hidden feature on this guitar that's pretty cool. We'll check that out. But for now, let's plug it in and test out some tones. All right, so let's kick things off with a little bit of gain, see what these P90s can do. So this is the same tone I used for the solo. I'm going to start in the neck pickup and then move to the bridge pickup. Let's check it out. All right, so now let's add a bunch of gain and play something a little more aggressive. And finally, let's find out what this thing sounds like, clean and pristine. Well, now that we've heard a few tones on this guitar, it's time to play over a backing track. I will link to the track in the video description below. You can check it out there if you want to jam along. Other than that, it's time for the 1 minute solo. Now let's take a quick look at some overall construction. Now on the backside here, we get a metal cavity cover. Nice to see, no cheap plastic here. And underneath, as you guys can see, full-sized pots. Again, great to see on a guitar like this. Now, as for the rest of the construction, the F-holes, the binding, the bridge and the tailpiece, everything is absolutely beautiful and extremely precise. So you can tell, they spent a lot of time on the detail of this guitar and it just absolutely looks fantastic. All the binding, just gorgeous. Love to see that. So really nice. They paid attention to all the detail. The neck joint looks fantastic as well. Really nice. So overall, no concerns with this guitar at all. Really, really nice. Now, as for the little hidden feature, well, I was looking at this guitar and I was like, well, okay, you can't adjust the truss rod here. There is no, like Warmoth style truss rod down there. So how do you get to the truss rod? Well, there's a tiny little cavity cover right by the neck pickup. You pull out those two screws and what do you find underneath? Well, a spoke wheel truss rod adjuster. So really nice, love the spoke wheels, and I like how they hit it just to kind of preserve you know, the overall look of the guitar. So that's kind of like a nice little hidden feature. So you get a clean headstock there, and if you need to make an adjustment, you just pull 2 screws and off you go. So here are my final thoughts on the B&G Crossroads Stepsister. What a beautiful guitar. From, you know, the exposed binding, the tailpiece, the F-holes, the P90 pickups, you know, the vintage burst on here, that tobacco burst, and of course these pickups which are so sensitive to the mid control on your amp. You crank up the mids and they just give back this incredible vocal quality, unlike any other guitar. And as I mentioned off the top, if you're just kind of tired of the old manufacturers refreshing decade after decade, and you want something that's classic but, you know, not the same, well, these guitars are amazing. Now, on one hand, I have obviously the Crossroads, which is the overseas made model. Here I've got a private build stepsister. So super high-end handmade stepsister versus the overseas. I'm just going to do a quick A/B comparison between these guitars, because here we've got the noiseless pickups and here we've got the regular P90s. So it should be interesting. Now, just a quick overview. Well, on the private build, you get exotic wood on the headstock. You get Waverly tuning machines, very high-end. Here we get Grover, bone nut versus tusk nut. What else? Yes, the pickups. Yeah, noiseless versus regular. Here we got honey burst finish, tobacco burst, but basically, you know, very, very similar. Now on the handmade guitar, you get all the extra little touches, like the F-holes are nicely rolled over. Here they're just regularly routed, very clean, but just regular route. Yeah, on this one, they're all just like really nicely kind of like put over. Very high-end electronics on this one in terms of pots and switches. One-piece mahogany body. You don't see that on a lot of guitars anymore. But the private build, 1-piece mahogany. Here we got 3 pieces of mahogany. Very similar design. So yeah, obviously the private build is just like exquisite in every way. The Crossroads is more affordable. So let's plug them in, just do a quick back and forth just to see what they sound like. So there you guys go, some B&G goodness. I'll let you decide whether you like the tone on the private build series or the Crossroads series better. But yeah, some really, really cool and unique guitars. Again, huge thanks to B&G for doing the giveaway. Love to do that. So yeah, be sure to enter. And other than that, I will link to these guitars in the video description below. You can get all the detailed specs, nut width, radius, all that kind of stuff down there. Other than that, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the demo. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, as I mentioned, I'll link to the guitars. Other than that, have yourself a great day.